Welcome to 10 Minute Mentor, premier mentoring for entrepreneurs who want to share their gifts with the world. Each episode is designed to be a mini coaching session, providing valuable nuggets that will empower you to share your message and make a bigger impact. My name is Rich Perry. I want to thank you for trusting me each and every week. I know you want to rock this year, so let's get started right now. All right, what's going on, everybody? We are live with the 10 Minute Mentor live stream podcast. Today is a special day. I upped our package in StreamYard, so now we get to broadcast to 6 different channels. We have a few different Facebook channels. We're going into my private group. This is the first time we're on LinkedIn. We're back on YouTube, of course, and Twitter. And then with camera 2 over here, we're streaming live on Instagram. So we got a couple things going on. So bear with me. This is the first time we're streaming to many different channels, and I'm excited to have it. And it looks like there's Instagram. Instagram's back. All right. So let's get started. Today we're talking about, let me bring up the banner real quick. We have 5 tips to build brand authority online. Now, this is a smaller version of a presentation that I just did this past weekend. So we're going to get into it with 5 tips to build your brand authority online. Like I said, we're going to different channels on Facebook. Our private Facebook group, the 10 Minute Mentor group on Facebook, LinkedIn, and also YouTube and Twitter, of course. So let's get this up here real quick. All right. So whether you're a coach, a speaker, you're an entrepreneur, you're an author, whatever, you have a brand and you want to be able to promote it online to build that brand authority with your audience. So these are 5 tips that you're going to be able to use to build that brand authority with your audience, all right? So tip number 1, you want to make sure that you're using professional images in everything. Professional images in your headshot, in your bio pics, professional images in the header shot, the one that goes above your profile. That's the header is in your cover image. Places like Facebook, LinkedIn, and Twitter. Even YouTube has it. So Instagram really doesn't. But you want to make sure that you're using professional images. All right. Anytime you're posting photos, anytime you're adding photos to your blogs or anything like that, you want to make sure the images that you're using are professional. So tip number 2, here we go, moving along. You want to make sure, now this is this is true for all the platforms, but for things like LinkedIn, where you're able to write a lot more, LinkedIn and Facebook, you have a bigger area to write. You want to make sure that you're completing your profile information. On Instagram and Twitter, the space, your little bio area, your summary area is limited. However, you want to make sure that you're filling it in. Let the audience know, let the person, your ideal customer, your ideal follower, the fan, whatever, when they stumble on your show, what is it that you do? Okay, so make sure you complete that area. Things like LinkedIn, things like Facebook, you're able to add like your website links, you're able to add social media channels. So if there's a space, if there's an open field looking for information, make sure you're filling it in. All right. Tip number 3, you want to make sure you have a customized URL, a branded URL saying who you are. When you come to my social channels, whether it's Instagram, whether it's LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter, my customized URL is Coach Rich Perry, and it's the same across all channels. Now, YouTube is a little bit different. It's Rich Perry Coach, and that's because YouTube wouldn't let me do Coach Rich Perry for some reason. I don't know why, but they wouldn't let me do Coach Rich Perry, so I did Rich Perry Coach, but it's the same thing. So you want to make sure that you're using a customized URL, and it's ideal to have it branded across all the channels. You don't want one of those ugly default URLs that's like Johnny57% sign, Niner underscore exclamation point, pound sign. It looks ugly. Okay. So you don't want one of the default URLs that they give you. You want to go into your settings and get a customized URL. All right. Tip number 3 is make sure, again, that you're linking your website to your social media channels. Make sure that you're linking your social media channels to your website. Make sure that you're also cross linking and cross promoting all of your social media channels together. So, one thing that you can do for things like Instagram and Twitter, you can use something like Flow Page, or you can use Linktree to be able to link all the different channels. YouTube lets you have the different icons on there. It links to all the different channels. Facebook, your home profile page, gives you an area where you can link to all your social channels. If you go onto your website, for those people that have a website, in your header area, the one on top, the footer area, the one on the bottom, or even on the side, like a side menu, that's where you can also put your social media channels, so that maybe someone follows you on Instagram, but they're not following you yet on Twitter. Maybe they follow you on LinkedIn, but they're not following you on YouTube. So you want to make sure all your channels are cross promoted. All right. And tip number 5, make sure you develop a strong content marketing strategy, and you want to be consistent. Okay. What you can do for those people that are watching the live stream, hold on, I'm going to try and get this out real quick. For those that are watching the live stream, you can go old school and get yourself a planner from like Rite Aid or CVS or Staples or not Home Depot, Office Max. Okay. You can get yourself a planner. You can utilize like a Google spreadsheet, okay, a Google sheet, to start building out your content calendar, so that you know on Monday, this post goes out. On Tuesday, this post goes out. On Wednesday, this post goes out. You're planning well in advance. And if you're, say, promoting a new product coming out, or maybe you have a book coming out, or maybe a program, or you're promoting an event, okay, you can start planning well in advance to start seeding the information that you're putting out there, so that you can start giving it to people in small little bites, moving them along to find out. We seem to be having some issue with Instagram, but I don't know. Hopefully we're going to get it. If not, we're trying something new, like I said. All right, so let's quickly recap. We have number 1, use professional images in your headshots, in your cover photos, your headers, and also professional images in all posts that you're putting out, such as blogs and things like that. All right. Number 2 is you want to complete your bio information, all the your profile information. Make sure it's complete. Make sure you're telling the audience exactly the information that they need. You know, if you have a brick and mortar business, you want to tell them your store hours and your address and things like that. Okay. Number 3 is make sure you have a customized URL. Number 4 is make sure you're linking your website to your social media channels to your other social media channels. And number 5, you want to develop a strong content marketing strategy. So for the folks that are watching the live stream, stay tuned, because we're going to have a Q&A coming up. I have some questions that were submitted. Those that are listening to the podcast, if you join our Facebook group, 10-Minute Mentor, in Facebook, all right, the 10-Minute Mentor community, you'll be able to see the Q&A. Okay, we're going to cut it off real quick for the people that are listening just on podcast, but you can always check out the live stream, get the bonus footage. You can get that on YouTube or right there in our private Facebook group, 10-Minute Mentor podcast community. So I want to thank you. Live streamers, stay tuned. We got the bonus footage coming up. Remember to reach out to me, rich@richperry.com. Go to my website, richperry.com, and we'll talk to you soon. Thanks, and be excellent. All right, so now we got the bonus footage coming up for the people that are checking out the live stream right here on different Facebook channels. We're here on LinkedIn, on YouTube, and on Twitter. I'm hoping that we're on Instagram, but it seems that we're having some issues with the Instagram feed. I don't know what's going on. It says pause due to poor connection. So I guess we'll see later on if the people on Instagram are actually watching this or not. So the first question that came in was how much to spend, how much would you spend on branded images, like say a logo? Okay. So, there really isn't, I really can't give you a real solid answer on how much to spend. I mean, you can find a graphic designer that's going to be very affordable. You can find a graphic designer that is super well established and, they only work with high tier or elite clients, okay? And you're going to pay for it. But I mean, if you're someone who you're just starting out or maybe you're on a budget, you can certainly find a talented graphic designer on places like Fiverr. Um, you know, where you'll find someone who has the skills needed to get your image and your logo and bring it to life, and you won't be charged an arm and a leg. All right. Now, the one thing that I will suggest is that if you're going to go to a place like Fiverr or wherever, and you're hiring someone that you don't know personally, then make sure you vet them. Make sure you go and ask them to see samples of their previous work. Make sure you are asking for like their portfolio. Make sure you're going to their website. You want to make sure again that you're vetting them, that you're not just paying the money and you're going to get some crappy designs. Okay. So, and that goes for anything. If you're going to work with someone, make sure you vet them. Okay. Question number 2, we have that came in. Oh, so this goes back to tip number 1. The question is, where would you find a photographer? Well, you can search them online. Okay. If I'm sure no matter where you are in anywhere USA, you probably have a local networking group in your community. And a lot of times at the networking groups, especially if it's maybe like um like a 2 or 3 hour event, or maybe it's a conference or a seminar, a lot of times they'll actually have a photographer there, and you can connect with the photographer and either schedule some studio time for maybe like later on in the week or, sometime in the future. And then sometimes I've been to networking events and I've been to conferences and seminars where the photographer actually had a booth set up in a quiet little area, maybe off to the corner or whatever, and you were able to get your headshot right then and there. So if you don't know any photographers in your area, then I suggest start going to networking events, because you're bound to run into a photographer at those networking events. Okay. So hope that helps. And question number 3 is, how often should you post online? And that depends on you. Okay. You want to make sure that you're consistent. You want to make sure that you're also developing a good and solid cadence. You don't have to post every single day, but if when I s- and I'm going back to the conversation that I had this weekend. Consistent wouldn't necessarily be once every 2 weeks. That's not really consistent, even if it's the same time every 2 weeks. Okay. So you want to have consistency. You also want to have a good frequency and a good cadence with your posting. So that really depends on you, your availability, your ability to develop solid content. And maybe it's once a day, maybe it's 2 times a day, maybe it's once every other day. That depends on you. But again, make sure you're consistent and make sure you're developing a good cadence so that people can expect good quality content coming on a regular basis. And the reason that's important is because if you are not consistent, if you're not using, if you're not structuring a reliable cadence, then your audience is going to go elsewhere for quality content that they can rely on. All right. So I hope that helps. If anyone has any questions, you can drop it in the comments area. Looks like someone said something. My man John Fry said Richie live streams. Johnny, what's up, brother? So I want to thank everybody for checking out. And I'm excited to see what it looks like. This is the first time we were streaming to more than 3 channels. And that's that. And that's the way we're going to do it from now on. Remember, we're always going to do the bonus footage at the end. So that's a time for you guys to drop some comments, ask some questions. You know, get your questions answered. Drop a comment, share an insight. If you know something that maybe I didn't address, well, throw it in the comments, and I'll do my best to shout you out. And that's that. If you haven't joined our Facebook group, 10-Minute Mentor, the podcast community on Facebook, go ahead and join that. And as always, make sure you check out my website, richperry.com. We're going to do the live streams on Mondays around 7 o'clock, streaming now to multiple channels. Super excited about that. Looks like we got some people hopping into Instagram. Hey guys, what's going on? You're on camera too. And hopefully you're able to catch that. I know we had some difficulty with the connection, but hopefully the people in Instagram were able to see something. To everyone else on Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, and YouTube, thank you very much. I love you, and I'll talk to you soon. Thanks, and be excellent. Bye-bye. Oh, hold on a second.